Have more than one wife. Okay, let me give you something, bro. The one you got, I can tell you at minimum there's 10 of them in there. Now, which one you want to see? Now, you want the one you married and y'all had all that what's the name? Well, then what did you do to have that one show up? Now, if she ain't there, one of the other ones showed up, you better go do what you did to have that first one show up. Logical conclusion. Because if you don't, and you leave the other one there, you got a problem. Brother tried that, and I tried to explain him, don't do that, but you ain't ready to do that yet, man. He gonna be a wise guy. He wanted to do it. He got cursed out. The other one said, that ain't you. You ain't had that. Where you get that from? Lay them out. I ain't gonna say what it was, nothing like that, you know. But that's what you get. You ain't followed the whole instructions I said. You know, you got to do this. What's the name? So, you know, you got to do things, man. Flowers, what's the name? Something she been asking you to do all the time. You got to do that kind of stuff first. And then say, what's wrong? You all right? Honey? Sweetheart? Any kind of names you come up with? Dear? You know, whatever it is. You know her. So, man, what are you talking about? I thought you were talking about what I am talking about. The family. I'm talking about community. All these things we're doing is because of community. 130 acres in Randolph, Virginia. We've been dealing with that stuff for 35 years, owning that property. And right now, you see what's happening with the food system. We're sick, all of us are sick as we can be because you're eating poison. You're not growing your own no more. The thing that we knew the best how to do. Why they brought you here as slaves in the first place. Because they didn't know how to do it, and they knew you did. We got a pear tree on the property that's close to 200 years old. What they call Asian pears. On a property there, which slavery took place, and the remnants of it, old slave cattle, is still there. There's a soul there. There's a spirit there. They go in there and start farming. Let's get some action. Talk about organic. Man, you just throw the stuff on the ground out here in Virginia, it'll grow. Stop eating all this poison, all this wax, apples and wax. What's the name? No seeds in the orange, no seeds in the watermelon, no seeds in the bananas, no seeds in the seeds. Y'all farmers, you know this stuff. Come on, man, just expand your garden. So you got the 130 acres there, and right here, where y'all at? We expect y'all to be the main one out there, the chickens and everything else. They talking about eggs, what's the name? Well, let's go. You know, take with a few chickens. We got the space, we got everything there, water, all kind of stuff. And then you got, what else I got? I'm trying to think.
Skating ring.
Skating ring, yeah. In Michigan. Now, y'all remember when you could skate? And give it a shot again. Our floor is kind of rubberish. You'll bounce back up if you fall. You know? But no, we're on a skating rink. And it's having great. They try to mess us up and try to come against us. You know, you're going to meet resistance, which we did. But alhamdulillah, now folks are coming and they're raving because we put up there positive music to skate by. This is not the place to come do the funky down and the what's the name this and come with no clothes on. No. This is for family. So we don't make as much, we don't watch it, there's no problem. Over time, we know most people want decency.
Right.
Huh?
Yeah.
They're the bad people are few, but they have big influence. That's where the problem comes, because good people are the majority. So we have that, and we building more. We running people for election there in that town. We ran them 2-3 times already. We're going to run again. So here's just a model of what we were talking about, that the Imam must have, let's get this done. Let's make it happen. All it needs is the good people to come together. The ones who don't want to come, I'm not trying to unify with them. For what? They'll get in your way. I'm not looking for that kind of unity. I'm looking for the unity that we find in the Quran, in the example of Muhammad the Prophet, and the kind of unity that is collective, because we collectively see the productive life that we can have as a community more than we can have as individuals. Because you don't live on this earth by yourself. You and I both. So, in brief, I know Imam Ali and others, they you know, they're sad because they know some of the imams and others and say, well, why won't you come? What is holding your hand back? And I said to them, I appreciate you talking with them, you know them, etc., but I don't have time no more. If they did not follow through with the best leadership that God has given us in Imam W. Muhammad, why am I wasting my time with him?
That's right.
That's my logical conclusion. Heck, I ain't Imam W. Muhammad. I ain't have all the God favored him and all of that. I'm a follower. And I use it. He gave us some tools, and I'm using those tools, and I let you know I'm using his tools. That's the tradesman. And the tradesman says, you don't want to use nobody else's tools, because that shows you ain't got your skills like you're supposed to get. But in this case here, no, he gave me the tools to get me started. And I said, well, I appreciate that, boss. You know what I mean? To get me started. And after I get going, I'll have my own tools. And I'll make sure that I pay you back by using these tools to continue to do the work that you started. That's it. So we blessed, dear believers. That's all I can tell you. We blessed. You know, and when I gave them the dates and what have you, and the Super Bowl and all that, listen, the Super Bowl is right here among the few of you who are here and the few that might see this presentation. This is the real Super Bowl of your life.
That's right.
You ain't make no money out of that unless you gambling. Good thing I ain't got my New York security here, because I tell them check all pockets and what's the name for lottery tickets. And you know the Quran says it. Once you start down that road and justifying it, gambling is a sin. And look what it is. And what the brother just said about a dollar in a dream, they took that in order to kill the great value and work of the honorable and noble Dr. Martin Luther King. They took what he said about a dream and repeated it, and then turned and said, well, make a dollar in a dream. And lose you away from what that man had in mind when he said what he said. We're dealing with shaitan. You're dealing with a devil, a very wicked mind, who is determined to stop mankind from ever coming into his or her fullness that God wants us to have. So we're blessed, dear believers. That's all I can tell you. We're blessed. And I hope that something I said here, I hope that God willing, I don't intend to offend nobody. That's not my need or intent. If I said something you're offended by or think is much thing, I apologize. I'm sorry. That's not what I don't mean to do nothing like that. I don't insult nobody. So if you feel that or think that, no, I apologize to you for that. But God is greater. Huh? God is greater. God is greater. I know that in my life and my soul. I know that through the work of the family and the responsibility that the people have given me at this historical Masjid Imam Shabazz for 30 years now. Matter of fact, Valentine's Day, February the 14th, without me being present. Matter of fact, I was here on the property in Randolph, Virginia, when they was told by the Imam that you have to choose your leader now. There's no more point in leaders. Al-Islam said you the people must choose. And I left because I did not want to be influenced over the people, knowing that they have respect for me and would look at me to see who I would, out of the candidates that was there, who I would favor. And the truth of the matter, I didn't favor any of them. So I left in order not to have any influence whatsoever. And on Valentine's Day, February the 14th, 1993, the pioneers and seniors of that community got together, and the 3 or 4 persons that were put forth, they rejected all of them. And they asked them, I heard this on a tape, I wasn't present. They asked them, what about Brother Pasha? And one of those who called himself Imam made the statement to them, well, Brother Pasha, he don't know nothing. He don't know a lick of Arabic. Now, I didn't know you had a lick Arabic. I had no idea about that. But that's his exact words. He don't know a lick of Arabic. Now, man, I don't know what I knew or didn't know, but that was his statement, and that upset those pioneers who knew me for all those years. Like I said, I worked with the Imam in 1970, what time went I think I went out there in 70, I went out there in 79, not too long after he got out there, to go help the Imam in Chicago. From 1979 to 1985, nobody never knew. I worked the farms, put stuff back together, me and two brothers. Took out tools and what have you. I had 3 children at the time. But I came here for the mission. I came here to live or die, one or the other. Gave my wife the insurance policy and set up and says, this is what I came in here for. I'm a soldier. The man need help, the leader need help, we got to go. And we went, and we worked, and we helped. I don't know if many of you have been around long enough to know about the cassette tapes that was distributed called nationwide distribution cassette tapes. And you all familiar with that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I was able to produce all of those, but I didn't put my name to it. Imam Muhammad asked me to be the first person to legitimately produce his tapes, to get them out to the people, so that the people could hear what he was saying directly and not hear it from imams coming to a meeting with him and coming back and telling you something different. And I produced all of those tapes on a Nationwide Distribution Corporation. And I knew nothing about producing tapes when he told me to do this. He told me to do this. We was in the Claire Muhammad School at the Ahmad Muhammad's Masjid in the pre-kindergarten room, sitting in little teeny chairs. And he said, Brother Pasha, you take care of this, you do it. And as a soldier, yes sir. I said to myself, Mama, I'm not going to take it. You know, I'm on the farm, messing with digging, burying 10,000 chickens that they walked away and left on the farm. We had 10,000 layer chicken coops up on that farm in Michigan. And we had to go up there and all their chickens, they walked away after he came in and left all those chickens die right there. Cows were dead right there. And the few that was left, they were bones. They were just bony. And the people called on it. And I went up there, me and the brother went up there. And I had to clean out all those chickens, big hole with the tractor. I didn't know how to work no tractor. I was a plumber, I didn't need no tractor. But I learned how to work the tractor, went after other farmers, dug big holes, had buried all those chickens and cleaned those things out, including the cows. I got a history of a worker. I know work. And I know God. God has never abandoned me. I know that. I know God. Well, I'll put it this way. I know God knows me. Yeah. And I said, God, I don't exactly know you, but I know you know me. You know, you're the originator. So these are the kind of things that we've been doing ever since. And when they got together and told them that, yeah, he may not know anything or lick Arabic, but we want you to put him on the list anyway. And what he don't know, then you teach him. And that's how I got elected to be the first imam ever elected at the historical Masjid Imam Shabazz. The pioneers and seniors of those things asked me to do so. 3 weeks later, when they came down here to get me from the thing, before they came and before they got together on Valentine's Day, I was back there in one of those dorms, the one we call Sister Dorm now. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I was crying. And I couldn't figure out why am I crying, water and everything. What is wrong? What's going on? I knew something was happening in my life that I did not want to do. I wanted to be a farmer. I wanted to build that farmland and build those houses and do things there. That's what I wanted to do. And I prayed and what have you. And then about 4 or 5 days later, almost a week or two later, Imam Kareem from Boston came up. If any of you have been on our campus, you know that you go to that front gate, you can be all the way at the end of the campus, you can hear it. And I was working, he came around and what have you, and what are you doing here? He said, no, I was coming to see you. He didn't tell me at first what went on. And then, I think it was the next day, the Fajr prayer, he came and said, well, you know, the people elected you as the new imam. Don't even elect me as the new imam. I ain't no imam. First, I ain't never want to be no imam. I seen the way they treated imams back then. You know, they don't care about their family. They don't care whether they got paid. Want them to be there 24 hours a day to hear their problems. Who the heck want a job like that? Can't even call it a job, because he was paying you. not me, you know. And then he went on, I think we did dua prayer. He says, well, he know where my heart is. So he said, well, you know, right here in the Quran, Brother Pasha, it says if the people ask you to do something, then you have to do it. So he used the Quran on me. And when he did that, I said, well, let me see. What are you saying to say that at? And he handed me the Quran, and it was all Arabic. Now, he was good way I can't read it. Well, this guy, he's terrible, man. I can see it right now. I looked at him. Hey, man, I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, man. You ain't pulling no stuff on me like that, man. They said, right here. He told me, what the hell I got to do? I don't see that. Where's the English one? You know, give me some translation. Yeah, I want to see some of the English, you know. He never did give me the English one. I tell you that right now. He never did. You know. So he stayed around. Well, I said, all right, listen, I'll go back and I'll help them and what happened. Because what happened, Imam Rashid, I didn't know it. And Sister Gladys, another great pioneer who went to paradise, both of them in paradise, had put my name down on things that I didn't know. That if something happened to them, that I would be the one for her. Gladys was a soldier, the best type. She worked under Malcolm. Sister Gladys is wonderful. Paradise has gained a listening with Sister Gladys. She passed a long time now. But Sister Gladys was that kind of sister. She's an older sister. And I've watched her many times. You would come to her to try to get something from her, and Sister Gladys, you can go old on them or what? Because Sister Gladys, like, she don't remember nothing, she don't say. They'll come try to ask her for something. The ones that Gladys said, huh? They were trying to tell her, well, no, she did this, and he said, huh? I don't remember the kid. You sure? I don't remember hearing about that, but let me kind of get back to you. Now, Gladys, they walk out of there, Gladys said, what do you think, I'm stupid or something? I see her do this, right? You know, Gladys, I said, I can use my name. When I told her, you know, I can't do that for she said, no, your name's on stuff. I said, what do you mean my name on stuff? No, she was older too, so I'm like, okay, Gladys. I left her alone, I didn't say anything. Came back again, and Gladys, I need you to sign this check and stuff like that. I said, sign the check? Sister Gladys, I don't have the yes, you do. So you remember she said, remember the papers I gave you about so-and-so, and I had you sign such and such? I said, yeah, I remember those papers. She said, well, underneath of there was other papers. And Imam Rashid said, never tell you about it unless this comes up. So now that he has passed, it's come up. I said, you and Imam Rashid both, man. What the heck y'all pulling on me, you know? And that's... So I told him, I said, well, I went to the people and I said, listen, you know, I'll do this. I'm not an imam, but I'll hold the thing until we can find an imam. Well, that didn't work for me. 30 years later, I'm still there, right? That's it. Yeah. And I realized that, you know, as I told the imam who was coming in here, because he was asking something, I said, yeah, well, all I know is that good men, unfortunately, whether it be imams or others, especially people of men of African American descent, I said when they die, they say they died of congested heart failure. I said that's just a fancy way of saying Negroitis. They died from Negroitis. Too many Negroes in their way. And to deal with Negroes all day, every day, you can't. It'll kill your heart. It will congest your heart in terms of that. So we thank God for being here with you. Hopefully, again, any questions on the properties, anything like that that I can answer, I'll be glad to make an attempt to do so. I came for that. But again, we're in a beautiful time for have our life fully in Islam. A beautiful time to know how to live this religion and benefit from it, and to really know about Prophet Muhammad, the prayers and peace be upon him, and take this thing from ritual to real, tangible, productive work. Just as those sisters in that kitchen made that delicious fish and chicken. I hadn't had none yet. I'm gonna take one with me back to the hotel so I can really get into it without, you know, without worrying about some greens being in my teeth up here on camera. I ate the salad. I love salad. I ate the salad, and sure enough, when that bathroom, there was one stuck up in there. I had to get him out of there. But alhamdulillah, I'm just a homeboy from the neighborhood, trying to make a living, love Islam, love you all. And praise be to God, you know, we are blessed, dear believers. You know, we're really blessed who we are, what we got. I just hope that more men and sisters that will be able to see this and increase whatever work it is and get our young folks involved. Wherever you go, bring those young people with you. Like my mama brought us at 5 or 6 years old in that church. Bring your young folks with you. you know, because they're in